it's me again with another rant. Okay, this Lori girl who owns this company that does graphic art on computer is saying she don't want to sell to LGBTQ couples for their weddings and whatnot as a graphic designer because it goes against her religious belief. And though she is selling her product in a public form, she says it's their own personal expression. All right, fine. It's your own personal expression. Then please keep your personal expression in your personal space, or donate it to others, or sell it in a religiously zoned business. But don't sell it in a publicly zoned business if you don't want to sell it to everyone in public. You know the word public? Public doesn't mean just Christians. Public doesn't mean just straight. Public doesn't mean just white privilege. Public doesn't mean just rich. Public means everybody. If you're selling a product, whether it's your personal expression or not, in a public form, then you must serve all in the public equally. So if you sell your product to a traditionally sexed couple for their wedding, you have a obligation to sell that product to a same-sex couple. It's called equal service in a public business. You get that? You freaking religious nutcases. I love my Lord. I love Jesus Christ. But let me tell you something. Nowhere in the Bible does it tell you to discriminate against others. And in fact, isn't it Jesus who said, if somebody comes and slaps you in one cheek, turn and give them the other? If you're working in a public business, if you zone your business as a public business, then you have an obligation to serve everyone in the public. And you guys out there who are saying, but it's her personal expression. Cake owner and now a graphic designer is getting away with sitting there and saying, oh, I don't want to serve gay couples because, it's against my religious right. Their religious beliefs. Hey, do you know some people out there have a religious belief that white and black people or white and brown people shouldn't marry? So they can refuse to serve you too. Did you know that some people out there have the religious belief that white are superior and they have the right to enslave brown and black people? So they can get away with doing that with you. You go down this slope, you guys sit there and you talk about, well, if they take away our AR-15, it's a slippery slope. Let's see. They did at one point in time ban guns. Right up to 2004. I can't remember what. I think it was 1984 to 2004. They banned assault weapons in the public. And guess what? people were still able to buy guns. Isn't that amazing? So I guess that wasn't a slippery slope. But this religious rights thing, where you can open a public business so that you can sell to more people, because if you open it as a religious zone business, you can't sell to as many people. This religious rights thing to give you permission to omit certain people from your customer base, that is a slippery slope. And if you're an LGBTQ person or somebody that supports an LGBT person, I highly suggest you research who this Lori graphic designer is, and you refuse to do business with her. That's number one. If you're LGBTQ or you're a supporter of LGBTQ and you own a business, I highly suggest you start recognizing who these people are. And if you own a business that supplies ink to graphic designers, you know, if she's got a religious right not to serve gay people, then according to your religious belief against bigotry and against being persecuted unjustly, you got a right not to give her any of your business. Let her see the slippery slope. Let her take you to Supreme Court. It's only fair. At least you're serving the public equally. You're serving her just as equally as she serves same-sex couples. That bakery out there that wants to go out and say, oh, I don't want to serve this person because of my religious beliefs. Or that pizza place that does it, look up who the owner is. And if you own one of the businesses that supply them flour or meat or cheese or sugar or baking soda or any of the products they want, if you're an LGBTQ supporter or if you're an LGBTQ person, refuse to serve them upon your religious beliefs. Because I'm a straight Christian. And as a straight Christian, it is my religious belief that you do not discriminate against others, regardless of who they are. Because the big number one is they are human. And therefore, they deserve the same service as any other human. And your bigotry offends my religious expression and my religious beliefs. Therefore, you do not deserve my business. Whether I am a customer or I am in business selling a product in a public business. Public. Not religious. Public. Understand what the word public means. If you want to reserve your product according to your religious beliefs, then zone your fracking business as a religious business, not a public one, you freaking dipknot. You people piss me off. You don't want to zone as a religious business because your greedy ass can't collect as much money from customers as a religiously zoned business. But you don't want to serve people in the public because your religious beliefs don't allow you to. And because, hey, let's face it, it's all down to one straight up thing. You don't want to zone it as religious because you can't make as much money. Your greedy little ass has to zone it as a public business so that you can bring in more business. And as bringing in more business is more important than your religious beliefs, you want to force the public to follow your religious rules. That's not right. And the public needs to start pushing back against this. Religion was used as an excuse to enslave people for thousands of years. It was used as an excuse of genocide. It was used as an excuse to take Native American people and put them on these schools that they had and commit cultural genocide. These Christians didn't give a damn crap bit of a care about the Native Americans' religious belief. And let's just face the truth of it all. This doesn't have to do with religious belief as a whole. Because I'll tell you what, if I went into a courthouse, whether it be in Washington or anywhere else, and I declared a right, okay, I got ordained as a minister, okay, for the right to be able to marry same-sex couples here in Iowa or wherever, anywhere else. So I'm an ordained minister. All right. That means I can marry people. So for the place I got ordained ministry from, Washington, D.C. won't honor it. You know why? Because one of the people who became a ordained minister's religious belief was that there was no God. So her religious belief didn't suit the Christian autocracy. So they stopped honoring marriages for people who got ordained in the same place as I did. So when it comes to religious rights, it only counts if it's Christian. If you're Buddhist, if you have a religious belief that follows more on the line of Native Americans, if you are atheist and your religious belief is there is no God, but you want the right to be able to marry your friends or people you know and have it legally counted, to hold a marriage ceremony to have that legally counted, well, then guess what? We're not going to honor that because you're not following our Christian religious belief. And that's the plain blank of it all. It's not about a religious belief or a religious rite. It's about a Christian belief or a Christian rite. Hey, if that Christian rite happens to intersect with a Muslim belief, all the better for them. They can claim, hey, it's not just a Christian. See, the Muslims believe the same way. But if that belief, that religious belief, strays away from the Christian belief whatsoever, then hey, guess what? It doesn't count. We need to be pushing just as hard as these Christians. Now, I'm Christian. I'm going to say it. But we need to push just as hard as these radical Christians out there who think that every belief in this nation, every law in this nation, every right in this nation should follow their Christian beliefs and only their Christian beliefs. If it strays off of their Christian beliefs, they have a right to nullify it. That's wrong. If you want your business to serve only people that cater to your religious beliefs, then zone your business as a religious business. If you're going to zone your business as a public business because your greedy ass wants to make more money, then serve the public. And that means all of the public. Whether they are Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, atheist, straight, white, black, brown, gay, transgender, or whatever it may be. Bisexual, gay, lesbian, queer, doesn't matter. A cross-dresser, it doesn't matter. They are all part of the public. You serve them as part of the public. Or you get out of business. If you don't want to zone it as a religious business so that you can follow your religious beliefs in your religious practice, then get out of business or serve everyone in the public equally with the same kind of service, with the same kind of kindness, with the same kind of product. Your product being the same value as what you give a straight person. That, or you're no more than a hypocrite. Because it isn't your religious belief that got you into business. Because if it was, you would zone your business as a religious business. It is your greed, which is also against the Christian belief, that got you into business. But we all know you people are hypocrites. You're more than willing to service somebody who's been married multiple times and divorced multiple times, but you won't serve a gay couple, a same-sex couple. You're more than willing to serve a man or a woman who came out of prison for murdering somebody and wants to marry somebody. You will be more than willing to give them your best shot in service. That's not against your religious belief at all, is it? Your Bible doesn't say nothing about serving a divorced man or a divorced woman. Your Bible has nothing to say about divorcees. Not a thing one. You're a bunch of hypocrites. Oh, when it comes to the Bible, you're so hypocritical that when it talks about not wearing cotton and silk together, when it talks about not eating cloven foot animals, when it talks about all of that stuff that's in the Old Testament, and we bring that up, you say, that's in the Old Testament. We don't follow the Old Testament. But when Luke in the Old Testament said, man shall not sleep with man, or he shall surely die. When Luke said that in the Old Testament, and although you can't find a single word about being LGBTQ in the New Testament, oh, then it's gospel. We got to follow that one. I mean, every other rule, every other law of the Old Testament, we can surpass that because that's the Old Testament. Except for when you don't want to. You're a bunch of lying, two-faced, nasty hypocrites headed for hell. Plain and simple. And you have nothing in common with Jesus. You are not pious. There is nothing about you I can see as a Christian being Christian. The only thing I can see is that Satan has you fooled. You piss me off. You really piss me off. You're using my God, my Jesus Christ, as an excuse to cause harm to others, knowing full well Jesus was not about that. Knowing full well that you're more than willing to surpass every rule in the Old Testament because it doesn't suit your personal wants. But by God, you're going to stick to that one in Luke. You're hypocrites. A bunch of hypocrites. And Jesus would be in your house turning over your table right now if he was here. Of course, that is, if you didn't take and kick him out of the country and call him an illegal alien. Or try to kill him because he was of the Islamic faith. Judaism is part of the Islamic faith. And Jesus Christ was not Christian, he was Jewish. And if he ever comes back to earth, if he finds earth worthy of him coming back, he's not going to be a Christian. He will be Jewish. What he started out as, he shall end as.